And I start going through the absent-minded scrolling thing.
This is the Deep Dive with Adam Roa.
Deep Divers, thank you very much for joining me for another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. I am your host, Adam Roa. Today's topic, we're going to go into a bit of a coaching moment that I found for myself only a couple hours ago. And the example, I guess, that I can use it as for how to develop a relationship with your behavior and your external reality that continues to elevate the awareness that you have, because awareness gives us choice. So if you can develop more awareness, then you are going to have more choices available to you, which means that you're going to be able to choose more things that are aligned with the life that you want to live. That's how we create this reality. It doesn't just magically appear. It appears through the choices that you are making. And the amount of choices that you have is limited by the amount of awareness that you have. That's why awareness is another word for consciousness. And so when we talk about consciousness, opening, expanding our consciousness, we're talking about expanding our awareness. And when you become a more conscious individual, you become more aware of what's going on around you. And that consciousness allows you to create more potential options for your life, right? So that's kind of how it works. I hope that makes sense. As we dive into this topic, I just want to encourage you to please head over to iTunes, subscribe to the show, leave a review. It really does help. There is these algorithms of how people find things and how they show up in the searches and all of that stuff. And if you leave a review, it'll only take you about 30 seconds. I'd really appreciate if you did that on iTunes. Subscribe, follow on SoundCloud, follow on Spotify, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching the video. Just do all of that. Just continue to be supportive and be a part of this deep dive tribe. I appreciate you so much. So the example, let's get into the example that brought this topic into my awareness right now, where I went, you know what? It's 3 p.m. and I just got to get on a podcast to record this. So I went to the farmer's market. I'm here currently in Encinitas, California, where I used to live for about 1.5 years with my previous partner, Azria. And I love the farmer's market here. It's so good. And I went in and just grabbed a couple things. I'm really excited for what I was purchasing. I was going to go back home and make a nice lunch. And so I drive home, I pull into the driveway, I park the car, and I pick up my phone. And I start going through the absent-minded scrolling thing. Pulled up Instagram and just kind of, scrolling through absent-mindedly. Okay. And then Instagram was done. So I went over to the ESPN app or whatever and just absent-minded scrolling, and Facebook. And I was like, what? Wait, hold on a second. What am I doing? And I caught it. And this is that moment of awareness. I caught myself going through absent-mindedly. And whenever that happens, I go, why am I doing that? I like to have everything be really intentional. And that's a key question. Why? So I think, why am I doing this? And I just took a moment to sit there and say, what am I feeling right now? And what I was feeling was a bit of loneliness. And that took me by surprise, because I'd been social the day before. I'm going to be social tonight. And yet in that moment, after leaving a farmer's market and just driving home, for whatever reason, there was a feeling of loneliness. And that loneliness and the discomfort of that feeling, which I didn't know was there, but that discomfort of that feeling was what prompted me to pick up my phone and just start scrolling to distract myself from the feeling. And what actually caused that feeling? That's a good question. One of the things that I've been able to decipher as I've thought about it and sat with it and asked the question is that I have a lot of memories of that farmer's market, specifically with my previous partner going to that farmer's market, getting really excited, buying a number of things, and then going home and creating an epic spread of this amazing farmer's market vegetables and food that we would eat together. It became almost like a routine that we shared that has really pleasant memories for me. And so the fact that I was driving home alone to eat it by myself, I think brought up some feelings of loneliness, of wow, I kind of missed that. And Is that the only thing? There may be other factors involved. Sure, I don't know. This has only happened like a couple hours ago. But the point is, I didn't know I had that feeling of loneliness. It's not like I was aware of that ahead of time. What I was able to catch was the behavior, because I don't desire the behavior of absent-minded scrolling on social media. That's not what I would desire in my life. So when I see it, I say, why is this happening? And that leads to the awareness of, wow, I'm avoiding something. I'm avoiding an uncomfortable feeling in my body. Which, by the way, is one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, why people do behaviors that they don't actually want to align with. Why people eat food that they know they don't want to be eating, or why people, just zone out and watch TV for hours, or drink that alcohol they don't want to drink, or whatever it is, to avoid something that's going on under the surface. But unless we ask why, we never find out what's going on under the surface. We don't understand what that emotion might be. And if we don't understand it, we don't have awareness. If we don't have awareness, we don't have the choice. So for me, it looked like sitting there, noticing the behavior and saying, I don't want this behavior. So where's it coming from? Great, found it. Loneliness, awesome. The next step with that awareness is, how do I choose to respond? What am I going to do? Because that part of me that feels lonely, that's like the little boy in me. It's like, I just want a friend. Oh, I miss the times that we did this. That's my little boy. How do I show up for him in that moment? How do I show up? And there's a number of different ways that could look. And that's a topic for another podcast, as this one's short and sweet. But the importance of this is to remind you that the behaviors that you have are not just the way you are. The behaviors that you have are erupting, emerging out of a lot of unconscious patterns. And the only way that we get to really shift those unconscious patterns at a high level is when we become conscious of them. And the only way to become conscious of them is to start to notice those symptoms. Notice your behavior. Notice the feedback you're getting from the world. Be like, why do so many people keep telling me this or this? Notice what's going on in your external reality. Use it as an entry point into what's going on in your internal reality. And then make new choices that are aligned with the life you want to lead. Thank you for being on this journey. Thank you for being one of the epic deep divers in this tribe. I appreciate you so much. And I want to remind you that always, in all ways, you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved.